All right, Brittany, can you go ahead and read our stimulus?
Mhm. If an activity significantly reduces chronic lower back pain, doctors should be prepared to discuss the merits of that activity with patients who ask about it. A recent study compared practicing yoga to taking stretching classes with a physical therapist and found that both activities lead to equal reductions in chronic lower back pain. Thus, doctors treating patients with chronic lower back pain should be prepared to discuss the merits of yoga.
All right, so what is our conclusion here, Brittany?
That doctors treating patients with chronic lower back pain should be prepared to discuss yoga
All right, and then what is our support for that?
because yoga can reduce lower back pain, has been found to reduce lower
Okay,
back pain.
so this question has a lot of conditional reasoning going on, right?
Mhm.
So what does if introduce?
Necessary. Oh, sufficient. Sorry.
Sufficient,
Sufficient.
yeah. So if an activity significantly reduces chronic lower back pain, so if it significantly reduces chronic pain, then doctors should be prepared to uh, discuss the merits of doing that activity, right? So if that happens, you should be prepared to discuss. This recent study compared practicing yoga to taking stretching classes and found that both of these things, right, led to equal reductions in chronic lower back pain. So this is also kind of like a relative absolute thing going on here because just because they both led to equal reductions, does that mean that either of them significantly reduced it? No. But then we go on to say, thus, doctors treating patients with chronic lower back pain should be prepared to discuss the merits of yoga. So, what must be true of yoga in order for this conclusion to be valid?
That has to significantly reduce lower back pain.
Yes. And what else has to be true? You're right. Not
The
necessarily about yoga, but just in general based on this stimulus.
the, the stretching classes with
Yes, because they're equal. Excellent. So, what kind of question is this?
necessary.
Yep. All right. So, let's go ahead and start with A. Go ahead and read A, Brittany.
There are no activities that lead to more significant reductions in chronic lower back pain than do stretching classes with a physical therapist.
All right. What do you think about that one?
No,
Why not?
because that doesn't have to be true.
Yeah, there are no activities that are better. Maybe like drinking beer is way better for lower reduction, but that doesn't mean that these other two do not. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cross A off. All right, Malika, what about B?
Taking stretching classes with a physical therapist significantly reduces chronic lower back pain.
All right, well,
Um,
what do you think about that one?
I left that one because that was like we just said that like that was one of the stretching classes we know reduces back pain.
Excellent. All right, what about C, Brittany?
Few treatment options for those with chronic lower back pain are available.
Does that
No,
matter?
no, that is
We
not.
don't we don't care how many. There could be a million, or there could be hardly any. It doesn't matter. All right, Malika, you have D.
No previous studies have compared practicing yoga to taking stretching classes with a physical therapist. That is just false.
Yeah, no previous studies. What if 100 previous studies had compare them? Like, does that do anything? It's like, cool, you really know that these two things are related. All right, and then Brittany, you have E.
Many doctors treating patients with chronic lower back pain discuss with their patients the merits of taking stretching classes with a PT.
All right, so why is that one wrong?
So that's the one I picked.
I also picked that one.
So I'm guessing we like this one because of it's mild, right? We're like many doctors with lower back pain discuss the merits of taking stretching classes.
I guess it doesn't have to be true. Like they don't have to talk to their
Right. They just have to be prepared to discuss it. But what if no patient asks about it?
But I thought like the conclusion, like the reason why I chose E was that like the conclusion is talking about doctors discussing with their patients like the merits of yoga.
It's talking about like you should be prepared to discuss them. Just because you're prepared to discuss something doesn't mean that you actually do discuss it. So this is saying that many doctors actually discuss it with their patients when really it could just be like one thing. Like if I went into a doctor's office and they're like, this is the typical treatment for something, but if I ask them about this other approach, the doctor needs to be prepared to discuss it, but that might not be the first thing they go to at all. Where B, taking stretching, because like what happens if taking stretching classes does not significantly reduce chronic lower back pain?
Yoga would not.
Yes, exactly. So that's why B must be true.
I think what tripped me up is I missed the significant part. So in the stimulus, so when I read significant and this one, I was like, I don't know, that's way too strong for
That's
that.
really strong. Yes, it is really strong. And unfortunately, that is this, but it's the same word that's used in our,
Right.
yeah.